How exactly does Saga make this deck better? Oh, I guess you just popped dead, and I like literally just said, but Saga does a lot in this deck. Being able to effectively cost 0 mana if you can play one of these 16 2-mana spells, which you're very likely to be able to because you have 16 of them. Comes down 0 mana, mills you 4, ideally milling over Archon, Serra's Emissary, and Unburial Rites, 8 good cards to mill over, and then being able to flash back Persist, flash back any of these spells to give you some more consistency, I think is really nice. And so I think when you start to think of Founding the Third Path as being a zero drop that you can play on turn 2 is I think maybe when you start to think of this card as like powering up the deck. Why 4 Priests in the sideboard? Yeah, so this is a bit more experimental too. The sideboard's doing some experimental things where this sideboard is more open than the Aether Mage's Touches version, where we don't need to play 4 Prismatic Endings in the sideboard because this version can main deck them. And so the priests in the sideboard are partially for decks with counter spells and partially for decks where you want to go really fast. So like the priests are like I think going to be good against like Living in Tron Titan, and just allow you to combo more quickly. And I think that access to that, it's really nice. But we'll see. This is a bit of more of an experimental sideboard plan. And then I was also thinking maybe you just want priests in those kind of matchups in blue-white control, because like Lingering Souls are also like tech for specifically Murktide, which I think is your worst matchup. And then like Founding the Third Path makes Souls better because you're milling 4, and I think Souls is just really good against that deck in general. Yeah, Priest is good against counter spells, but Murktide has plenty of answers to Priest, so we'll see. Okay, one lander. I'm actually going to keep, though... I'm going to keep the one lander that has Persist, Unmarked Grave, or Faithful Mending into Persist. Jeff, 17 months, thank you. Is lane landing consideration versus Endurance or Hand Disruption? I don't think there's enough decks that play like tons of Hand Disruption to really want that. For that purpose, for Endurance is interesting, but Teferi is kind of our answer to Endurance also. Teferi or Thoughtseize. Jeff, 17 months, appreciate you. Okay, so we didn't draw a blue source, we did draw the black source, thankfully. Dude, another 80 card deck. This is 3 Yorions in a row. But, I mean, I usually like the Yorion matchup with Reanimator at least. Love to draw land so I can Thoughtseize first. Probably will Thoughtseize anyways. Into 2 blue mana here. Would be awesome to just draw runner land on the Mold of 6 keeping basic planes, huh? Although I guess with 2 Persist in hand now, I could just Persist to target Archon. And the ability, again, to flash back to Persist and effectively get access to more copies of that card game 1 is really big. Because like a lot of times with Reanimator, you just use them and you're out pretty quickly. Okay, so still holding up 2 mana. We may be getting 80 cards, by the way. I will cast Thoughtseize even if I don't draw a land. Yeah, the bug with Founding is in combination with See the Truth. I believe that you're supposed to be able to draw 3 off the cast. We had a bunch of judges in the chat say, yeah, it's a bug, but definitely a weird interaction. 2 counter spells, 80 cards. Doesn't it copy the card from exile? It casts the copy from exile. Yeah, a lot of people in the chat are saying, okay, Exile Icefang can't cast Icefang. A lot of people in chat were also saying it shouldn't work. I really do believe it is supposed to work, but... And, you know, a lot of people say, hey, I'm a judge, Spike, and everybody in the chat's always a judge, but... I believe it should work. Did I see all 3 cards? Did the copies See the Truth stop resolving after you picked 1 card? After I picked 1 card, it stopped resolving. It should work and works on Arena. Thank you. I asked the Magic Judge chat, and they said it works. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Okay, lucky to have another Persist here. We didn't draw another land, but, you know, drawing a land on turn 2 was really nice. 4 cards, opponent's hand. We'd love to draw land for Faithful Mending or Indulgence. Fail to do so. We can still Unmarked Grave for another Archon. Yeah, it's so disappointing. That deck was... I was so excited for that deck. It was very, very interesting, very exciting. I put a lot of time into working on it, and it just is immediately bugged, unfortunately. Okay, plenty of stuff to sack to an Archon here. The bad deck went fine. I think we win like 0-2 into 3-2, but we were also like kind of running particularly bad with like bricking collected companies constantly. But the Aether Harvester felt very strong. I'm definitely excited to play some more of it. I just wanted to get like that done first because I know that was also what at least I was the most excited for. 80 cards by the way, baby! 80 cards by the way. Barf. Still plenty of life here. Still plenty of life. Okay, just getting a basic with the Traverse. Although we obviously do have to draw Blue Source soon. We've also drawn 3 Persist, but of course having, you know, a bunch of Unburial Rites, a bunch of Founding the Third Paths gives us more life as well. Rites here is really nice if we draw Blue Source next turn. The 4-color deck has a generally super slow clock, so you can have time to draw out of a awkward mulligan like we're having here. Gabroth, 31 months, thank you. Yeah, I think we're all tired of the 4-color piles. Especially when you play against them 3 in a row like this. Although we did, you know, we crushed them with the Phoenix deck and then dropped Recued with this. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna cast Mending here. The 4th Persist would be like Unreal Draw. But just another land and just like cast rights, flashback rights, just Archon every single turn. You're tired of 4-color pie away for the no banlist tournament. Phoenix go well. So there was a bug in the Phoenix deck. We had game 1 of the Phoenix deck was awesome. We got to do our thing, but unfortunately, Founding the Third Path is supposed to work. You're supposed to draw 3 cards when you cast it off Chapter 3. Does not. Does not work on Magic Online. So I instead of playing the bugged league where like that synergy was a big part of like what I was excited about for that deck, I decided to play this deck instead, and then hope that they fix the bug quickly. If not, we'll figure it out. But I will say that Magic Online has generally been good about fixing bugs the last several years. Does Phoenix have a good Murktide matchup? It does, yeah, it is a really good Murktide matchup. Or at least it did before Ledger Shredder. Maybe Ledger Shredder is kind of annoying. Maybe not. You have answers for it. I have to tweet at them. Way ahead of you, way ahead of you. They did minus their Teferi, which is something... Oh, I think it's to refresh it. I might just concede. I have so many cards. Yeah, sometimes they never fix... Like, I think the Wall of Roots bug is like... There's got to be something so broken with like that interaction in the code that it's just like not possible to fix. But I will say, like, with some exceptions, Wizards they've done a good job of fixing cards during set release. Most things are fixed within like, you know, a couple days, a couple weeks. Another Persist, which means I could maybe go Flashback Rights plus Persist next turn. Maybe just good enough to get out of this. And maybe they have the 4th counterspell, which they don't have. They're also very close to ultimating Rin in 6. We'll see, we'll see. Yeah, I think we just lose, because they're going to get to ultimate the Rin in 6, flashback Unholy Heat a million times, counter spells. They can easily sack 2 things. Good game 3. Okay. On the play for, game 2. On the play for game 2, I think I'm cutting the Serra's Emissaries. I'm cutting the Prismatic Endings. Gonna bring in 4th Teferi. I think I might play the Priest as well. Or I think a lot of times 4-color will cut cards like Prismatic Ending against you. On the play, I think these get a bit more viable. And at the very least, I'm not that interested in Ending or Emissary or Trasodon or Lingering Souls. Lingering Souls are kind of experimental, but I think they're good enough to play for the Murktide matchup at least. Sorry for the deep. I'll look at this. We've had literally 4 1-landers to draw. I'm playing 21. I was thinking with all the 2-mana draw 2s, this would be fine. And this hand's really nice. I think I just keep founding the 3rd path. I think this is the 5-card hand. Pretty good 5. They're bobbling themselves here. I think what's really exciting to me about founding the 3rd path in this shell in particular is that it effectively costs 0 mana most of the time. Where it just is immediately casting a 2-mana spell from your hand with 16 2-drops. I think you'll probably have to wait like a little bit longer before DMU cards are available from bots, but we'll see. And then here we can go Persist next turn. Potentially, if they have a counterspell, we get to flashback Persist. We probably get to something else to flashback turn 3, even if everything goes right and this resolves. If we Persist and they Endurance, we could mill over another Archon, flashback Persist. Hopefully no Veil of Summer. We mill over another Persist here. We may actually not have anything to target next turn if this just resolves. Doesn't just resolve. That's a good counter. Although if they Teferi Time Raveler, I think they get to stop the founding trigger. Shocks and Stomping Ground. I'm not super optimistic we're gonna walk away from this turn endurance free, huh? Just quickly to show off what this card does in the deck. Okay, Veil, stop the trigger. Archon's still in play. See if they have an Unholy Heats. Although they are 1-card type short of Heats. They could have Solitude, they could have Teferi still. Well, they probably would have played Teferi last turn if they had it. Or maybe not because it dies to Archon. Verdict, sure. Could Unmarked Grave for Rites. Think that would be fine. Set ourselves up to draw a card. We currently have 8-2-3-0. 8-2-3-0 is 4 different types. So the Indulgence could be set up to draw 2 next turn. Also, if we get the Rites in the yard and we don't draw the land. Oh, there he comes. A second Veil of Summer? They might. Mr. Land again. Land Persist. At least we could maybe lose this game quickly and get out of 4-color Omnath Hell. Free ourselves. I think I'm gonna cast the Tainted Indulgence, try to draw land. I think it's like somewhat likely that they have a counterspell here, so like trying to find a land to like Rites next turn and stay in the game seems pretty important to me. Ominous Soul of Windgrace. I think I'm not... We'll see, we'll see. I don't think I'm going to pivot to Jund today. So they have Yorion, 6 cards. Ugh. Okay, at least they cast that first. And show me I can concede. Please, let's be out of Yorion House. 3 matches in a row. I think we're currently like... I think every single 7-card hand at least has been a one lander. I think we're gonna mulligan this too. I think we have better 5s. Yeah, I think this hand's good enough to keep. I might keep Faithful... I think I'm gonna keep Faithful Mending, Archon of Rites, so I could just dump both of these. Threats Undetected. Has a lot of combo potential. Any ideas along? I don't think that card has much combo potential. 3 mana cards in Modern that like telegraph that you're gonna try to combo next turn with like, I presume cards that are weak to creature removal. I don't think this is something that has a lot of potential, to be honest. You know what I mean? Okay, we'll discard these 2. There, we can set up for another Rites in the Yard and just try to fight through counter magic potentially. A lot of Rites. Or a lot of Unmarked Graves. No main deck Priest of Fell Rites obviously would look really good here. If they're like the new, or the Days Undoing deck we played against earlier, it is definitely possible that they have Force of Negation here. Kind of expecting it. Force pitching Jace though. It's Fairy on 6. They also have Counterspell. I think I discard the Unmarked Grave. Maybe I should keep it because I can draw a land, get the 3rd Rites, flash it back. Wait, they're main decking Piracy Charm? Like, literally what the hell? Ragavan removal? Yeah, I guess. Snapcaster Mage, target Piracy Charm. Well, that's pretty cool. Alright, then they get... Oh yeah, Teferi also subs the Founding Path of the trigger. They get to bounce their Snapcaster Mage, just go to game 2. Rest in Peace has like not been as common in blue-white lately. They're playing a lot of like artifact-based, especially when they're playing Snapcaster Mage, they play like a lot of artifact-based disruption. So I may be interested in playing like 2 Stony Silences. Seems somewhat reasonable. Then maybe we just go down. Maybe we trim on the rights when we're bringing all these priests. I think that makes sense too, especially against the Force of Negation deck. Infinite one-landers today. Can keep this. Put back the rights. I might just put this down. I mean, what's nice about Founding 2 is if you don't have anything to cast, you can just put it on Chapter 2 immediately. Okay, good call on the Stony Silence. I will still take the Lantern, though. Good hand for them. Gonna be hard to fight through all that counter magic. Milling over an Archon here would be really nice. We'd get to... we get to start being able to cast these Persist, obviously. We do mill over the Archon. Awesome. And then next turn I can go Flashback Thoughtseize, cast Persist. But they have 2 counter spells, unfortunately for me. But then the next Persist should be able to get the job done. They do keep a card on top. So their hand is Counterspell, Counterspell, Snapcaster Mage. I guess we'll... I mean, they may... I wonder if they'll counter the Thoughtseize ever here. Yeah, I don't think that this was probably like the correct play from them, but we'll see what they got. Discard Snapcaster Mage. Still has a counterspell in the hand. If they Teferi bounce this, we can maybe go Tainted Indulgence, discard into Persist. Nice, sure. Love to get this down. I think we just cash in for a card. Great draw. They draw 2. Let's get that draw step stop set for the draw step Thoughtseize. Although maybe just better to go Tainted Indulgence, Persist. I think we'll go draw step Thoughtseize and then also Tainted Indulgence. Cool. None of their cards do anything. I mean, they can go Snapcaster, Fire Teferi, but then I just win the game. That would also require them to have Steam Vents in their deck, but I usually like to play the Steam Vents personally. Okay, show them they're dead. What's holding back Reanimator the meta, in my opinion? I think the Aether Mage's Touch deck that I put together recently is a very good deck. It is actually winning a lot of tournaments, or a lot of the, you know, Spikelings are telling me they're winning tournaments with it. This is, I think, an interesting way to build the deck too, but I think that it's also true, like, with creativity being in the metagame, a lot of people prefer that as, like, their Cheat and Archon deck into play. The Grixis Archon deck is also a Reanimator deck too. But Reanimator is also always their kind of deck that, like, can just be hated out since it is so weak to graveyard hate. Let's keep this hand. Opponent has not decided to keep their 7 yet. They do keep 7 though. Be a good hand for founding the third path. Take the charm. Wow. Wish granted, I guess. This gives me so many looks at an Archon here. Getting Watery Grave. Do you for this list or want Grief and Solitude? I mean, it is way too early for me to answer that question, you know what I mean? This is like my second match with this deck, and I've played like 100, 200 with, you know, those variants. Are you gonna counter this? Consider response. But this has felt good so far, or at least like founding the third path has felt like a good option. Just too early to say like what the best variant is. So that with them drawing a card, we're definitely gonna slam the priest this turn, I think. Quad Mendings. We know that they have Mystic Gate, Flooded Strands. 3 mystery cards. Oh, I guess I was it? No, they just always counter Unmarked Grave here. I think I just cast this. There's actually a pretty good chance they counter, since if I put an Archon in the Arctic Priest. Yeah, I think that they probably like are pretty pricey, if assuming that that's what they're thinking about. But Snap Dispute, yeah, this would be bad against Snapcaster, I guess, because they would get to protect their Teferi. Yeah, just counter spells, great for me. Dead Teferi, good for me. Still have that Flooded Strand, 3 mystery cards. There's the Strand, 3 cards. Let's play around another counterspell with the Mending here. Think Impulse will see any modern play. I think it will see almost 0 modern play. I think, you know, there's maybe like a small chance, but it will see like incredibly niche, you know, fringe play in decks like like blue-red storm or something, you know. They're drawing 2 in response. So maybe not falling for the bait here. Couldn't bring themselves to counter the... Oh yeah, I guess the bait isn't as good as I really thought, since I could have just flashbacked the Mending. Look at that graveyard, though. Do you have any See the Truth decks lined up? So we started last league playing this really cool Is It See the Truth Phoenix deck that I have, and I was really hyped for it. And See the Truth is bugged with Founding the Third Path, where you don't get to draw 3 cards on the flashback, unfortunately. Alright, 2 mana, no graveyard hate. Or I guess they can have the ETB of Soul Guide Lantern. Maybe casting Unmarked Grave first is better, because if they kill my priest, I could persist. Yeah. This should still be fine. How long does it take to fix the bug? It depends. A lot of times with new, like, they're usually really good about, like, with new cards, fixing bugs really quickly. Yeah, I was definitely supposed to cast the Unmarked Grave first. Okay, so why don't we play around Mystical Dispute and Flusterstorm with this first, which you've seen both of. Or maybe Flusterstorm was last game. It's all blending together. Is this a draw 2 yet? We have 2, 8, 0, 1. Which is still missing a mana value. I could have also maybe tried to just, like, Tainted Indulgence discard this. Oh, are they going to counter me? They should just draw 2, because they need to exile the priest. Oh, they did counter. It's weird. I just have the Unearth. It's a Teferi. You bounce the Stony, play a Lantern. Maybe bounce the Snapcaster Mage. Like going back to discover the impossible with the Founding. I haven't actually. I think that's a pretty interesting synergy. You get to mill for more copies, cast it for 0 mana, flash it back. One day we'll find discover the impossible deck, huh? Do you think they can counter this? They have to have exactly dressed down as the 1 mystery card. Oh, yeah, not discover the impossible. We're talking about, though, the frantic inventory. And then also, like, maybe you play Discover 2, but probably not. Okay, draw 2. Trying to keep their Snapcaster in hand, I guess. Yeah, I think they just messed up. Really enjoyed the Cheese Touch deck. I don't really understand the appeal of building on Founding. We've talked about it a bunch. I'm sure we'll be talking about it some more too. But the general idea is, like, when you think of Founding the Third Path as a 0 mana card of this deck, because that really is how it is going to function a huge chunk of the time. And I think once you start to think of it as a 2 mana card, you're going to kind of understand why I'm interested in it. Okay, if they counter this. I know they have Snapcaster, so I don't want to just, like, jam the Teferi, I think. It's maybe a spot where we could go for Founding the Third Path, and then go Founding the Third Path on Chapter 2, mill us for, start off by casting Thoughtseize next turn. I could also discard the Persist and cast Tainted Indulgence off the Founding, which I think is fine because I have the Priest in play. I think that's good. Although then I'm not casting Thoughtseize for 2 turns, which I think is also fine. They also might counter this. Founding is more of a Manamorpho style card. Yeah, I guess that's maybe a better, like, exactly. It's like it starts off as 0 mana, or you think of it like a Manamorphos, a 0 mana type card that is providing you a lot of value and card selection and versatility. So I think they're gonna go Snapcaster Path. Snapcaster Path into Hall. Attack me for 9. It's a lot of damage out of nowhere. And Phoenix is salvaging better than Mending, yes. Unequivocally, yes. Okay, we're gonna need to run well off our Mending, huh? Yeah, just no Archon in the yard. Tough stuff, tough stuff. Okay, I like this hand. Can maybe pivot back to bands. Yeah, if anybody can find me 3 Lord Windgraves, I don't know if those are like really expensive or whatever, but that would be probably helpful. See if Esther can make me some coffee too. Okay. Squee, 2-pack, deck tech. Yeah, you might not be able to find the wing races till tomorrow, that's fine. So John Asmo with Soul of Windgrace. I don't know if I'd like Soul of Windgrace in a deck without Thoughtseize, because Thoughtseize gives you kind of that meaningful interaction to disrupt your opponent, slow the game down, and can kind of allow you to play this slow 4-mana creature. I'm not sure that this deck has enough interaction or a fast enough clock to want to play Soul of Windgrace. That being said, it does have a lot of synergy here. Does have a lot of synergy. I don't think I see anything obviously wrong. Although I would be really interested, especially because you have so many red 1-drops, and playing Din of the Bugbear. I think Din of the Bugbear is really good with Soul, since you're going to have so much extra mana. Good card to return. I'd maybe go down like 1 Hearse plus 1 Din of the Bugbear, try to find and then cut a different land for a Din. The mana is also really interesting here. Maybe you want to play some of the red cycle lands too to go through Red and 6, and then you return them to the Soul for like a little bit of value. Not sure if that's going to be correct though. Okay, hopefully we mill over an Archon here. We do not this time. Next turn we can flashback Thoughtseize with Founding the Third Path. Hold on. Or Unburial Rites. So let me just cast this Prismatic Ending. And let me think. Yeah, then I think I'm just going to cast the second Founding on the mill 4 mode. And if I mill over an Archon, then I get to... Oh no, sorry. I needed to do Chapter 2. But I was thinking if I milled over an Archon, I could go flashback. This is still fine. I can go next turn flashback Unmarked Grave, then flashback Thoughtseize, Persist. But I was thinking I could flashback Thoughtseize if I hit an Archon, then cast Persist from the hand. Or maybe this actually works out better. Yeah, this could work out better. Just play a little bit slower. I do love the Besages in the sideboard. You can maybe even play the 4th Besage in the sideboard. I think they're going to really shine for you. Thoughtseize in the sideboards makes sense too. This could be a fine way to build it. Okay, so let me go target Unmarked Grave, mill 4, then I just won't cast the Unmarked Grave if I mill over Archon. I do mill over Serra's Emissary. But I think that I'm gonna make sure I can get the Archon in the graveyard, especially because I can just Prismatic Ending Ragavan, and then next turn, if I draw a land, I can actually go Thoughtseize, Persist, which is nuts. Yeah, I think the build is generally really good. I would go down a Hearse, up a Den of the Bugbear, maybe cut the Peatland for a Den, maybe play 1 cycle land. I don't think I like the Peatland very much. It's not terrible though. This looks good though. This looks like good. Maybe just a little too slow. I do draw the land. So I get to go. Thoughtseize, Persist. In before 2 Spell Pierce. 2 Unholy Heats, so I guess we just take 1. I could Serra's Emissary on instance, but I think I'm also just okay taking my card advantage here when I have I have another persistent hand. I have Unburial Rites in the yard. This is fine. They discard their Steam Vents, cast the Heat. Their hand is Consider Iteration. Pete has more synergy with Windgrace than Cycle Lands. I know it has more synergy with Windgrace than Cycle Lands, but Cycle Land is better with Red and 6 and better on your life total. So, I mean, they definitely have a counterspell because they didn't iteration, but that's fine. So they've already used 2 Unholy Heats. Even if they do find Unholy Heat, I still have Rights in the yard. They exile Scalding Tarn. Trigger the Archon. They discard a Ledger Shredder, and I guess we go for Rights on Emissary now. They do have the counterspell. But they have to top deck, like, Iteration into Unholy Heat and Murktide or something. I don't know. They're in bad shape. Don't find any of their outs, and we go to game 2. Again, sideboarding in this matchup's a bit weird. I think I'm gonna cut the endings again. Gonna try like how I sideboarded game 2. Just rely on Stony Silence to turn off their graveyard hate. Also turns off Treasures from Ragavan, turns off Baubles incidentally, but cannot overstate how good 2 mana you have no counter magic is. And then I think I did something like this, which I think is fine. Deck tech from Brock. Okay, I missed that. Thank you. Gruul midrange. Any new cards? No, just a regular old Panza. Well, this deck is currently 4 Tarmogoyfs and 4 Reckless Impulses away from being a Obosh deck and some sideboard cards. But, you know, you could play... It's also very interesting to me to play 4 Reckless Impulse, 4 Light Up the Stage in Pawns. I've never seen that before. It's also weird to me to play the first copy of any of these cards before the 4th copy of Seasoned Pyromancer, since Seasoned Pyromancer is just such a good card advantage spell in this archetype. Okay, get hit by Ragavan. We do have double basic if they have a moon effect, though. Something. Yeah, maybe just go for triple basic. I'm going to Stony Silence here. Hope this resolves, of course, but turning off the Treasures from Ragavan is really nice. Turning off the Graveyard Hate is really big priority, too. Sometimes it gets counterspelled. But yeah, I'd be interested in playing 4 Blood Moon's main, 4 Seasoned Pyromancer, 4 Fury. I also think if you're going to play a 2-drop, it probably just has, like, the first Red and 6 is good. Even in your Blood Moon deck, the first Red and 6 is good. You can, oh, dude. You could potentially be in on, oh, and then Teferi stops my Founding triggers, too, unfortunately. Brutal. Only 2 cards in their hand. Should I place the live stage before Spire? I mean, yes, definitely, but I just don't think you should play Reckless Impulse. I think doing something like playing Ren and 6, and maybe some like Forgotten Caves to like cycle to go with your Ren and 6s would be an interesting direction to go. But if you also don't want to play Ren and 6, I think Obosh is a good reason to not play Ren and 6. I don't think that Tarmogoyf is particularly good in the archetype either. And these games they have Ragavan on the play, double counterspell, Teferi, just so brutal. Oh, I just noticed these 4 Soul Guide Lanterns in the main deck. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess you're maybe just sick of losing to Living End. I don't think that they make much sense to me. I would play 4 Endurances too. Okay, let's discard Archon Priest. Or is it better to just, like, cast Priest here? No, they're just gonna bounce it. Pretty good hits. Oh, yeah, I just noticed no Arbor Elf. This deck is so weird. Yeah, maybe playing just Arbor Elf over Joper Sprawl for more mana makes sense. I agree that these Ponza decks are super hard to build, and I think getting somewhat unconventional with them is important, but I think Impulse is bad, Light of the Stage is bad, 4 Lanterns is bad. I would play any number of Endurance over any number of Lantern for this kind of effect in the main deck. Consider Obosh. It's like, the conversation is like really Obosh versus like Ren and 6 and sideboard cards. It's not that you can play Obosh and like lose it post-board in like 1 or 2 matchups, but probably not every matchup. Any Dress Downs? Lantern is for Delirium. I don't know how important it is in a deck that already has enchantments, creatures, lands, potentially planeswalkers if you play Red and 6. You can also play Abundant Harvest or Traverse for Delirium 2. Okay, so if they do minus the Teferi on the Archon and they lose the Teferi, then we get to go Founding the Third Path into Tainted Indulgence. Really not in that bad of shape. We also have, 4 Lingering Souls in the deck that we've been unable to draw in these matchups against the Ragavan deck. But maybe we Founding the Third Path can mill over some for me. Yeah, I'm just kind of giving you a lot of rough thoughts because this is like such a unique build of the deck. I don't like Charmaglyph, I don't like Reckless Impulse, I don't like Light Up the Stage. I think you can play Channeler Ragavan. I don't think Channeler needs that much support in general. The card's just very good, but playing Red and 6 would help a lot with the support. Okay, so Chapter 1, cast Tainted Indulgence. Discard Archon, cast Unmarked Grave for Priest, I guess. Play tapped Esper Triome. No more basics to fetch. Taking 5 down to 6, dead to double bolt. They only have, I guess they have 4 cards after their draw. They also have so much mana. They could hardcast an Archon if they hit one, but I think we only have 1 in the deck. I like the Grudges, I like the Run-a-Fouls. Do you want to Unmarked Grave a Persist? That's a really interesting line. I hadn't considered. Do I not have Lingering Souls in the deck? Did I forget to board them in? No, 4 of them. So if I Priest here, I'm dead to Lightning Bolts, but it's also like a decent chance they cut their bolts post board. Also, the amount of black ley lines, I think the ley lines to the side are good for the creativity matchup. I assume that that's what they were there for, at least. I thought that their presence was fine. Ah, there it is. Unmarked Graves of Soul, then Persist. I think just jamming the Priest that's uncounterable makes the most sense to me. They discard a counterspell here. I think just saying I'm gonna lose to Lightning Bolt this game if they have it is fine. Yeah, 3 is fine. 3 is fine. Especially because you can sometimes cast them off Ragavan, but yeah, kind of a small upside. Iteration into iteration. I'm definitely blocking because I'm dead to bolts if they attack here. Yeah, I like Leyline more than Veil as an answer for Archon in that deck, since like you need a permanent answer to it in your green-red deck. Although I guess you also have Run Afoul. It's interesting. Why is all... Look at how small this white mana symbol is. Everything is just so small on Magic Online now. 3 cards in their hands. They did keep a card on top, so like presumably... Oh, they're crewing... Oh, they crew Hearse before tapping Hearse, but they crew Hearse so they don't attack with a Channeler, and then they tilt Concede. I think they're all like super reasonable. And I haven't been playing enough of the archetype to like tell you definitively which variant is the best, but I also don't think that any version like has like super dynamically different matchups, to be honest. Okay, glad to have Mending against the Burn deck. I'm not sure how late I'm streaming today. I asked Esther for some coffee, but she's in a meeting. But I'll go as late as I can. Like one problem is also that the Phoenix deck that I have prepped for today is bugged, and so like I was planning on spending a lot of time with that today, and I can't, unfortunately. When I was fixing OBS earlier, so the bar disappeared. Yeah, I'm not sure what the context was for that. Yeah, Moto giveth, Moto taketh away. Tech for pocket beers. I post a link in chat. I can take a look. Try making my hand smaller. What is this supposed to do? Fix the OBS? I will say that founding the third path specifically has felt very, very strong in this deck so far, but I feel like maybe this version's not as strong as the Ephemerate version. And maybe it's also like with Reanimator, like you can definitely run like super hot or super bad and like think your deck is worse than it is. Oh, so this makes you gives you a token for your creativities. I think I dislike this card in this deck. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to me to be playing Yotia Declares War as like 2 mana make an Ornithopter. There's like plenty of better cards than that, and yes, sometimes this will also give you access to removal, but usually not. And it's easy, it's telegraphed, it's easy to play around removal. I don't think that this is going to be good. I also don't like playing Boseiju in this mono red version. Splashing just for... Okay, there's not even a Scalding Tarn here, or a Stomping Ground here to channel Boseiju, which you should have if you want to play Boseiju. But, I guess I digress. You should have Stomping Ground if you want to play Boseiju. I think the idea here should be that you're playing your mono red, however, and you want to be able to play Blood Moon. Although Blood Moon is also certainly an awkward card in the shell, right? Where you turn off your own Dorvern Mines, which is a huge part of this, like how this deck functions. Double Eidolon, gonna be very weak to my Archon of Cruelty, huh? Oh, this is supposed to be the other Boseiju. Oh, it is the other Boseiju. I just missed it. So used to the other one. I think that I would rather sideboard this card, the old school Boseiju. Way to fix black bars, move Windows taskbar to top. That helps, for sure. Although I hate this. I would also really recommend the 3-mana Chandra. Oh no! See, look, like I can't mess with the the windows. The 3-mana Chandra, I think, is good. The one that can flashback spells from the yard, can flashback your creativity, gives you tokens for creativity, flashes back your bolts and stuff. I don't know what the name of that card is. The one that flashes stuff back. Chandra, who flashes stuff back, is maybe the name of the card. So I think I'm cutting the Teferis, bringing in Marches. Don't want Priest. Could play one Teferi, one Nasty Terasti, play Teferi. No, she's not uncommon. She was rare. She's definitely rare. Okay, no blue mana mulligan. Yeah, Acolyte of Flame, that's it. Okay, keep this. That card seems really good. It seems better than Yotia Declares War. I think the Blood Moon should just be sideboard. I don't think they make sense at the main again. Okay, Unburial Rites on top. I'm gonna Thoughtseize my opponent, try to play on Eidolon Graveyard Hate here. End up just taking a Swift Spear, I guess, which is fine. And then if we miss on land this turn, we can try to Thoughtseize ourselves. Oh, they ripped the Eidolon. But we ripped the land. I think I'm just gonna main phase. Kind of goes shields down, but I don't want to turn on. I guess their skewers are going to be turned on no matter what. But I guess I could also get skull cracked. We kept double Thoughtseize against burn. We kept the 6-card double Thoughtseize hand that has like a very fast Archon against burn. If this was a 7, maybe I mulligan. If on 6 cards, I think it's an easy keep. And just try to find a land to like maybe even turn 2 Archon if we Thoughtseize ourselves. Double Rift Bolt suspended, so I'm taking 4 down to 7, going up to 8, then down to 2. So dead to the skewer. This is, yeah, they still have the skewer. Okay, gonna give him 3. It's very better on the play. If you Thoughtseize your opponent, yeah, if you do Thoughtseize yourself, your opponent does see your hand. Yeah, this is like kind of mono red shell, 3-mana Chandra over Yotia Declares War, maybe playing more creature removal. Besages in the sideboard, Blood Moons in the sideboard, Leyline in the sideboard. All seem kind of interesting, but pretty different build. Double Prismatic Ending, fine. Persistent Hand, fine. I'm gonna mulligan. I think you just want like a faster Archon. This hand promises to potentially give a fast Archon, so we'll keep. We can even march a Eidolon or a Rest in Peace. I don't think I'm going to march a 1-drop. Especially not Goblin Guide. Okay. So guys, now we'll march the Eidolon. Hope to draw a land. Any land, good, draw. Not the worst. Down to 10 life. Opponent has, yeah, this I was gonna have to test where. Oh, no, I thought he's myself here. Why don't you play Grief? So the Grief we've played the Grief version to death, the Ephemerate version with Aether Mage's Touch. That version's very good. There is not room if you're gonna play Founding the Third Path, which has been a very good option so far. But if you're gonna play Founding the Third Path, you can't play Grief, Solitude, Ephemerate. Maybe we could have gone to 5. I think this is a fine keep though. Land next draw. Dude, these like. It's so hard to mulligan Unmarked Grave Persist in these one-landers. Maybe we should go up to 22. I'm going to keep. We have 2 non-black lands in the deck. But even if we draw a non-black land, we can cast Founding the Third Path into Unmarked Grave. It's just like so hard for me to mulligan these. The upside is so high. And, you know, you are kind of, at the end of the day, a 2-card combo deck resolved around Persist and like a 2-mana way to put Archon in the yard. And we're on the draw also this game. Yeah, we're favored to draw land. Just feels bad to keep all these one-landers. I am hyped for Dominaria, yeah. What happened last match? We kept to one lander on a mull to 6 in games 2 and 3 that needed to draw land to win and didn't draw land in either game, really. Right? Yeah. Keeping another one here, although here we also get to discard Archon to hand size. I feel like this is just like such like a mathematical keep, you know? Just keep losing. I like bone shards, 1-2 more consistent Archons. I hate the bone shards. Not trying to just, you know, argue, but you don't have that many Archons in the deck. You have 4, you have 1 Serra's Emissary, you don't have like, and then it's also true like your opponents are not going to give you a target on turn 1 for bone shards that often. Yeah, it feels really bad. I'll concede if I don't draw land here. Yeah, the RNG's been pretty tough today, for sure. With 24 lands. We're only playing 21, which I think we could be up to 22. But yeah, we're above 50% to hit 1 and 2 draws. Missing on 4 draws like we have here is incredibly unlikely. You know, it is what it is. My opponent also has counter magic up here, so even if we hit, we're not that likely to win. Yeah, but I think that going up to 22 is somewhat reasonable. I think that's a change I'll be making. I think this has been our sideboard plan so far. We did just beat Murktide with it. Alright, we'll definitely keep this on the play against Murktide. Once a mold to 5. Game Wizard, thank you for the tier 1. Appreciate ya. I want to play this deck so badly. We could play it and just be like, See the Truth is supposed to draw us. It's supposed to draw us 3 cards here. Still works off Demi Lich. I mean, we could play this list also with the Founding the Third Path, and or just like Faithful Mending over See the Truth. I'll be patient. I've got other stuff to work on. Yeah, just play Impulse instead. Easy. I think I get Island here. Kind of thinking about Blood Moon. I think a blue source to cast Indulgence is more important than a white source to cast Hardcast Lingering Souls. I don't think Iteration's good. Like, the thing about Iteration is, like, you can't cast it until turn 3, and on turn 3 you need to be casting, like, enough cards to get back your Phoenixes, Demi Liches, which you usually can't with a few Iteration. Third Path has been really good in this deck. It's been really good in this deck. It feels like, though, this version is, like, maybe weaker than the other version, though. Despite, like, this version having a big upgrade. There's also one really interesting card too. We could play Frantic Inventory over See the Truth. Frantic Inventory is probably actually like super hot, right? Don't do it. I might do it. Thank you, sweetheart.
Yeah. I was like, you're telling me to make you coffee, and I'm like, in the middle of a meeting, I'm like, I can't make you coffee right now.
Well, I had texted you like 2 hours ago or something, so I knew you hadn't seen it, so I thought I might as well, you know, just tell you.
Okay, it was only 1 hour before, and
okay.
2 hours ago now, but
2 hours ago now?
I remembered to make you coffee, but I only had time to boil the water.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I wasn't, you know, I just, ask it. I'm dying over here.
Give me
you know,
nachos
I'm dying,
and
I'm just dying
woman.
over here.
Give me my coffee, you woman.
The problem is exiling from your graveyard, moving it from your graveyard doesn't count toward other inventories. Yeah, but you can only, like, you only need to exile from your graveyard when you're going to draw multiple cards, right? Which I think is fine. I think I am likely to end up on 4 Aether Channelers. It was good. It was good today. Like, we just kind of ran bad with our collected companies today. But I liked it. If they have Soul Pierce, they can get me, I guess. Go Lingering Souls. Okay. But also what's cool is like Founding the Third Path mills you 4, so you can mill over extra copies of Frantic Inventory also. And then get it unstuck from your hand with the first mode of Founding the Third Path. It sounds kind of interesting. And I was like, yeah, it could be lost in the sauce. I think I don't know, it sounds kind of good to me. It's probably not as good as See the Truth. But there is like upside over it anyways. And it does help you get some extra value out of the mill mode on See the Truth also, which I think is kind of important. I don't think you want gifts in this version. I think you just want more rights to like mill them over as like that kind of top end of the curve. So do I sacrifice a Lingering Souls token for 3 damage, put them down to 8? The next turn I'll have... I know this is 3 Lingering Souls. The block here takes 6 down to... Yeah, I think we just start sending. Yeah, I think my opponent cast first because they didn't realize Stony's like very good against them. Does really nobody in the chat think Frantic Inventory has potential here? Because I'm kind of like... I think it might be like about as good as See the Truth. It could be just Copium because I want to play the deck, but I think it's like good enough to test. Yeah, in Phoenix with Founding the Third Path because you get to mill it over more often. You get to get it unstuck from your hand with the first chapter, flash it back. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna take 7. I think I'll block here, then just send with everything. This way I'm not dead to like 1 lightning bolt. Get another counterspell. They've already cast, I guess, 1 counterspell, 1 Archmage's Charm. Frantic also makes you more susceptible to graveyard hate. I mean, you're already like super susceptible to graveyard hate. And it's still like, I mean, it always like cantrips too, but yeah. Okay, going to game 3, let's click submit. I can keep this, I guess. Is it crazy to put back Persist here? I kind of don't think so. I think that we could maybe play a slower game where we like Lingering Souls, Thoughtseize, and then just set up for an uncounterable Priest. Yeah, I know everything's... My whole monitor's all messed up. I need to like... I don't know how to fix it. Oh, wait, so this is with the taskbar on the side. It actually looks better like this. Not a ton better, I guess. Can't see opponent's cards in hand. Yeah, I know there's this stupid black bar at the top of the screen. I don't know why it's there. I messed it up somehow. I'll try to fix it tonight. Did we just get coped out of Jund? I mean, I don't have the Lord Windgraces yet. If someone, has the Lord Windgraces, maybe we'll play Jund instead, but I feel like I believe in the inventory enough to try it. Oh, awesome. We get Blood Moons, so we get to just play Frantic Inventory. It also does seem like a pretty good day for Phoenix too, because it's just all Omnath and Murktide. which is just like the exact environment that you want to play Phoenix in, I think.